Hey everyone, welcome back to Life in Between the Lines. I'm your host, Allison Vaughn. Thanks for coming back for another week. Today, we're going to be talking about surrendering control to the good Lord. I guess this could also be considered the idol of control, how to overcome the idol of self-sufficiency, control, just giving up, completely surrendering to God, because I felt like it was a good spinoff from last week, because last week we talked about when you give your life to Jesus, he starts to make you who he wants you to be. But then there's a second part where he starts making your life what he wants it to become. So it's like a two-part, who you are and then what you do. So we covered who you are last week, and now we're covering what you will do, what your life will be. Okay, so got my little notebook. First of all, isn't this the cutest notebook ever? Like, my roommate's mom got it in Paris. She's obsessed with Monet, which my grandma is also obsessed with Monet. So I'm like, oh, that's special. But it is like so beautiful. But this is my like idea notebook. And okay, so to set us up for what we're going to be talking about, I am going to say, because I know a lot of people have some hesitations when we talk about the topic of surrendering control and giving up control. And there's a lot of like, I'm going to be myth busting this episode, basically. Kind of telling you what it is not and what it is. Because there's a lot of like lies. There's a narrative around why control is bad, or when we say surrender control, give up control to God, we don't actually mean everything. No, we mean everything. And I definitely mean everything because I think God deserves everything and wants everything. So there's probably some hesitations within you that are within me naturally where we're like, it doesn't have to mean this, or like, you don't mean this. So I just kind of want to clear out what I mean when I say giving up control to God and surrendering fully to God, what it is not, but then also what it is. Now, to get into it. So my first, what it is and what it is not. Giving up control of your life to place it in the Lord's hands is not giving up on your life. It is surrendering. So one way that I saw surrender and giving up control of your life was just literally giving up on your life. I was just like, well, I know God wouldn't want me to do that. If you're asking me to give up control, it's like, what? So I just sit here? I just sit on the couch until you tell me to do something? Like, no, it is not giving up on your life. It's just giving up control on your life. So it's still moving how you would normally, going through your day-to-day activities, still operating as a normal, functioning, contributing member of society, but letting God control your life. So when you have control over a situation, like we like control. We like when we have control over a situation because we determine the outcome. We determine exactly how it plays out. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If there's a bump in the road, we know how to overcome it because we see that bump coming. And then eventually we know the outcome. So that's having full control. If you have full control over a situation, that's what it is. You know the beginning, you know the end, you know everything in between. You can troubleshoot because you know the problems that are going to arise. You know how to overcome them. It's like you see everything, you know everything, and you can plan for everything. That's having control over something. So when you think of having control over your life, that's what it is. When we don't want to give up control of our life, we want control of our life because we want. You see, it's even hard for me to give an example because when we think of what control really is and having control, we realize that we have none and that we've never had any. We might think we do, but we've never had any. So to use that same example towards your life, just as we can have a situation over, like, I'm thinking of like a Monopoly game, you know? It's like, I might not know exactly what's going to happen, but I know all of the possibilities. I know pretty much what can happen. It's like I have control over the game. Even though it's out of our control, I know this is what I'll be doing. These are the other possibilities. If this happens, I know I can do this. And then I know eventually the outcome. Even if we don't know step by step, we know what to expect. And I think we kind of put that limitation on our life. It's like, well, I might not know exactly how things are going to turn out, but like I have a good idea and I can kind of predict the future. I know that I'm going to do this, so then this might happen. I can troubleshoot for this to happen. And then eventually this is what my life will turn out to be. And that's not how it works at all, because if you think of having full control over a situation, what I just said, apply it to your life. You don't know the beginning from the end. You only know the beginning after it happens. You only know the past. You don't know the end. You don't know how your life will turn out. You don't know anything. You don't know step by step by step by step what will happen. Life is way too unpredictable. It's like we can't even attempt to have control because we never will. It's completely impossible. We're so bound by time and space and matter and all of our human limitations. I can only be here. I can only be here at this time, then I'm here I can only do things for a certain amount of time until I'm tired. I can only know as far into the future that I'm told or that I experience. Like, we are just bound by so many limitations that we do not and can never have control over our lives. So when you realize that, just throw in the towel. Throw in the towel. And this is when you surrender. So again, it's not giving up. It's not saying, I just give up on life. All right, God, you have control over everything. Make me do this. It's not like you're just the puppet plopping yourself on the couch and being like, move the strings, make me do this, make me do whatever. We know we wouldn't have a very good life if that's how we approach this. But it's just giving up control. It's saying, I'm still going to move, I'm still going to do, but I'm going to stop lying to myself that I have control over my life. Because I don't know what's going to come tomorrow. I don't even know what's going to come in an hour from today. I have a good idea, but you have no clue. A tragedy can strike in a second. The biggest blessing can come down in the second. One phone call can change your whole life, whether for good or for bad. There's so many things in life that happen when we do not expect it at all. And I'm sure if you were to look back for you a year ago or even 6 months ago, your life is probably in one area. Even if you just pull one area, your life is nothing what you expected it to look like. Even if it's small, that just goes to show we cannot predict the future. We do not know. We are not sovereign. This life, my life, is completely out of my control. So again, what it is surrender. It's saying, I can't do this. I can't even try to trick myself into thinking that I can do this. I don't know what's coming tomorrow. I don't know what's coming next. I don't even know what possible things to plan for. These things happen out of the blue. I got a flat tire like a month ago or something, and I was not planning for that at all. Like, that was not even in the realm. Like, obviously it's a possibility, but I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about the time it was going to take to get it replaced. I wasn't thinking about the money to get a new tire. And it wasn't the end of the world. Luckily, it was fine. I just got a nail in my tire. But even just these little inconveniences or little things throughout the day, it's like I don't have control, because then that set back what I thought I was going to do that night, push my schedule back because now I have to do this. Maybe the money that I was going to put towards this, now I've got to put towards the tire. It's all these things we can't plan or prepare for, that if we think and are acting like we have control over our lives, it's going to kill us. And yes, a flat tire is not the end of the world. Little inconveniences, it's like you can trick yourself either to living in constant fear and anxiety of, oh my gosh, I have to plan for this to happen and this to happen and this to happen, and what if this, and you can't sleep at night because you're living in so much anxiety and fear of the future, trying to troubleshoot. You're trying to look out for yourself and trying to protect yourself by planning for this and this and that to happen, when that's a burden way too big for you to carry. I would love to talk about this more in depth, but I have other things to talk about. That is you trying to take control of your life and trying to be God. If God tells you it's okay, you can rest your head at night and he's got it, you don't need to troubleshoot for every bad thing that's going to happen. It is in the Lord's hands. So then the surrender part is going to bed being like, whatever happens, yeah, I might get a flat tire tomorrow. I might miss my alarm and wake up and be late. I might not do this. I might do this. It doesn't always have to be bad things, but anxiety is planning for bad things. Give it up to God. Yes, these things might happen, but that doesn't matter because God's got you. It's like, oh my gosh, what if a flat tire happens? I need to prepare this. I need to even if it does happen, it's fine. If you trust that the Lord has you and that he uses everything for a purpose. The Lord provides the finances to pay for it. He clears out my schedule and creates time to be able to spend extra time in the car shop than I would like. God is so sovereign. Everything he does is with purpose and with intention. So trust that he has it all under control and that you could never even begin to have it under control. So just surrender now. And my next point is, this doesn't mean that you have zero plan for your life. It means you have a plan, but you don't know exactly how it's going to work out, and the Lord is guiding your steps. So when you give up control, it doesn't mean you give up critical thinking or common sense. You still plan for whatever you feel the Lord preparing you to do. You consult the Lord. Don't plan a future without God. Plan a future with God and say, okay, this is what I believe his will is for me to do. I've got to move. I've got to plan for this. I still have to take step and take action towards pursuing what you believe the Lord has for you, but still knowing that I will take a step forward and the Lord might completely redirect me in another step tomorrow or in a year or in 10 years. And let him. That is the key to the surrender. You can create a plan with God, co-create your reality with God. And then when you have a plan, be open to that plan changing. Similar to, it's not giving up. It's not planning for anything, not doing anything, just being a vegetable on the couch. It's not that, but it's still working towards a future and trying to build a future with God and allowing him to change that. And you may have a plan for you to go and do this, this, and this, and his plan might be totally different. And just because it ends up being different than you planned doesn't mean that you planned your future without God. If you are still consulting God to plan a future and you're like, okay, I think we've got a good plan. I've been praying, I've been seeking him, I've been asking him to open doors, to close doors, to give me the desires that he wants to fill me with, then you guys will create a plan together. And if he decides to totally wreck that plan in a year, which is what I feel he's doing with me, I struggled because I was like, does that mean I was totally going against God's will for the past year of my life? If he's calling me towards something else, does that mean that I did something wrong, that I wasn't hearing him correctly? No, absolutely not. He reveals his plan based off of what we can take at a given time. So I could only see that. We planned that together and he thought it was good and I thought it was good and I did that and I stepped. But while I was still living out that plan with no plans of changing, he started to change my heart and change my desires and reveal a different plan for me. And I had to be open to that. I had to let him change because of the surrender piece. Because sometimes we don't try to take full control of our lives and just excuse God. We try to have both when we can't have both. And you pray for things that you'll allow him to change and you're fine with him changing. But then there's probably some non-negotiables where you're like, please, God, do not change this. I have a good plan. I have good action steps to where this will probably work out. And we're fooling ourselves, trying to have control over a situation, but still asking God to be a part of it or still asking God to bless it. When your hand is covered, your hand is hovered over that thing and you're like, no, God's in control. God's in control. It's like, you're not even letting him breathe on it. Let him breathe on it. Surrender. Open up your whole life. Open up your whole self, your whole being to God, and let him make your life what he wants it to be. So still consult God. He's the ultimate life coach, I guess you could call him. Savior, Lord, King, life coach. Let him tell you where he wants you to go, short term and long term. I don't think it's bad to plan for long term, but most of the time what I've experienced is it's short term. He will plan out my future with me short term, and then we just make adjustments from there. And I'm still going to do what he tells me to do or what I think is correct until he tells me otherwise. And that's not just me going off of my desires or, me disregarding him, but like time will go by anyway. You want to spend it well. So that means every day I've still got to do something. I've got to do something. Like the time will pass anyways. You will live your life. Years will pass by. Weeks will pass by. Months will pass by. And just because you surrender doesn't mean that the plans that you have for yourself aren't what he has for you too. We don't know. We won't know until we ask God. So don't be scared. Like, don't assume that everything you plan for, God is just going to do the complete opposite. That's not true. For some, the Lord completely wrecks all of your plans and wants to take you on a completely different path. And for some, the path that you have already planned and are living out was the Lord's will, and now he can just join along and make it that much better. So don't assume that surrender means chaos. But just think of it like how you were when you were a child. You didn't realize it because you were a kid, but when you were driving somewhere in the car, you did not know where you were going. You didn't know how you were going to get there. You didn't know how long it was going to take. You weren't thinking you're going to get in a car accident. You're just on your iPad in the back seat because Dad's got it. Dad's going to get me exactly where I need to be. I don't know how long it's going to take. I honestly don't even know where we're going to end up. But Dad said, get in the car. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to have fun in the car until I get there. That is surrender. That's submitting control. When we were kids, we submitted so much control to our parents because we knew, I don't want to do it on my own. I can't even do it. Like, that's how we should approach our relationship with God. When he asks us to have a childlike faith, it's like, go back to that childlike dependence to where I'm just going to get in the car. It's hard because we're much more aware now. We're much more aware now and much more smarter than when we were kids in the back of the car. Now we're adults in the back of the car and we're aware that, hey, this is taking a lot longer than I originally planned for. Or, hey, we've been driving a while and I don't know. How do I not know where we're going to end up? How do I not recognize any of these roads? Like, when are we going to stop? Or, hey, I thought that someone would have joined me along the way by now and no one's gotten in the car with me. Like, I thought that was going to happen. It's like, we're much more aware, but I think that is a blessing because we also are aware of God's faithfulness. So when we get out of the car in God's perfect timing and he takes us to a destination where we didn't know, then when we look back on that car ride, we're like, wow, you can see exactly what he was doing that whole car ride. Whereas as a kid, you just get out and you're like, oh, distracted by, the destination. Now, it's equally important, the destination and the ride to get there. Coffee break. I feel like I'm preaching to myself. Probably because I am. And, I've debated like praying my prayer on here before. I don't know if I'll start doing that, but I always pray before I talk, obviously, like that the Lord just gives me the words to speak and that what he once said gets said and that whoever needs to hear this message, it reaches, whether that's 5 views or 5 million. I just pray that whoever needs to hear this, it gets heard. And I'm like, wait, it's me. So I don't even have to post this because I'm the one that needs to hear it, but I guess I'll post it anyway still. Number 3, this is not getting analysis paralysis. What this is trusting the Spirit in you and knowing that God has multiple plans for our life to work out to reach the same end goal. That one could have been more concise and better. But if you don't know what analysis paralysis is, it's basically when you have so many choices in front of you that you end up choosing nothing because you're so overwhelmed. It's pretty much just like, it's the feeling of being overwhelmed by too many options. So if it's really hard for you to make any decision ever, you're probably very familiar with analysis paralysis. But it can really wreck some people's lives because, yeah, it's kind of funny when you don't know what to order on the menu and it's like the waiter has asked like 3 times and you still don't know, like, haha. But some of us get analysis paralysis in our life and for life decisions, and we end up doing nothing. And I think it can I don't think anyone fully teaches this, but I think a lot of the times us Christians, maybe when we first come to know Christ, we almost get analysis paralysis and that I'm not moving if God doesn't say so. Like I can't step if God doesn't say step. And we're devoted to the Lord, and I think it shows like very pure intentions and devotion to God, but it's like, buddy, you still have a life. You still have a life. So this idea comes from my pastor gave me a book when I graduated called Just Do Something. I don't have the book with me. I gave it to Isaiah, and he hasn't read it, so everyone yell at him. I think it's like young adults starting their life. So yeah. And it's called Just Do Something, talking about just do something. Like, yes, always ask the Lord to reveal his will for you, and always pray that you are in alignment and in step with God's step. But God has given you an intelligent mind to make decisions. Make an educated guess and do it. The point that I was making that I just didn't say very clearly, I said it's trusting in the Spirit in you and knowing that God has multiple plans for our life to accomplish the same goal. I don't even know what that means saying that. But what I'm saying is I don't believe that God has one specific path for our life. I believe that he has so many different paths that our life could be. I believe he has the same goal. He has one goal that he wants us to accomplish in the end of our life, but there's so many ways in which we can do that. And so when we're coming up to a big decision that's like, okay, well, what job do I get out of college? Do I move back home? Do I move to a completely new city? If I'm going to move to a new city, literally, where do I live? Or if I move home, like, am I going to move to my hometown, or if I'm going to live with my parents again? Like, all of these life decisions that are big decisions, you should be taking it into careful consideration before choosing one. I don't personally believe that there is one thing. He doesn't have one job he wants you to do in one place where he wants you to live doing this one thing, and then at 2 years he wants you to go do this. He doesn't have one path for us to do. Don't confuse that with there's only one thing you will do. There's only one way your life will turn out. There's only one thing you choose. But I believe that in every big life decision, God has so many doors to open. He's like, you can do this, 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 and this, and I will still be there with you. I will still be there on the other side. And then once you choose out of these 10 million options, well, okay, maybe not that many. We'll say 10 doors. Once you choose one of these 10 doors, God presents 10 really good doors for you. And he's like, all right, choose one, and then I'll be there right on the other side of every door. I'm literally thinking of Monsters, Inc., how they have all the doors, and I'm thinking of Jesus at every door. And we're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what God asked me what to do. And he's like, I'm there. I'm there with you through everything. Just choose one. They're all good. You've sought me about all of them. I've given you, none of them go against my word. You can fulfill what I've called you to do. And all of these doors, pick one. And we're like, oh, God, I don't know. Tell me, confirmation. And he's like, they're all good. Here's your confirmation. You can choose any of them. I'm giving you the options. I'm giving you multiple job offers. I'm giving you multiple apartments you can move into. I'm giving you an option with your parents. I'm giving you an option for roommates. I'm giving you this and this and this. And we're just so narrow-minded, like, well, but which one is it? And I think God's trying to scream at us, like, it's all of them. It's all of them. If you're living in accordance with God's will, if you're surrendered, if you have that relationship with Jesus and you're praying and you're seeking his will and you're asking him and you feel good about something, just do it. Walk through that door. Jesus is going to be right there. And then when it comes to the next life decision, he will present his 10 doors and he will be on the other side of all of those as well. You're not big enough. You're not powerful enough to mess up the life that God has for you. You truly never will, no matter what it is. And I'm telling you guys, no matter what it is. There was a guy in my small group on Monday. He got a life sentence in prison for first-degree murder, and he's been out for 15 years, completely changed his life around, is leading my small group, is leading so many people to Christ, is such a disciple. Think of Paul. Think of Paul. Now, it wasn't God's will for Paul to kill Christians. It wasn't God's will for my small group leader to do that. But God will use it. There's nothing you can do. There's no decision that you can make that will ruin your life forever because God's hand is too powerful. You can't do that. You are not powerful enough. You may make a bad decision. You may make a wrong decision, but it's not enough to ruin your life. God will always be there. God is with you in the valleys and the mountains. Even if he has 10 doors and you open up your 11th door and you're like, no, I'm going to do this. God is still there on the other side. And he's saying, return back to the path that I set out for you. Return back to my doors. Every door that you walk through, God is on the other side, not just his. So I kind of just started talking about this, and I think I want to talk a little bit more about it, going back to the anxiety piece. And I think I say a lot of these things, but I don't say why it's good. Like, oh, surrender to God. Don't be in control of your life. But like, why? Yes, because that's what God calls us to do. And if we say we're going to give our life to Christ, then we actually have to give our life to Christ. Come on. But God is so good that it actually benefits us too. So going back to my first point with the anxiety up at night, why is it good to submit control? When we try to take control, when we try to troubleshoot all of these ideas, we end up living in crippling fear and anxiety. And no wonder our world is so anxious, is because we're told to be so self-sufficient. We're told that we need to be in control of our lives. We need to be in control of everything. We need to have a plan for everything. If not, like, you don't have it together. I don't know what you're doing. You need to get it together. You need to have a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, a year plan, and then a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. And adults encourage this, and they ask you, and they put so much pressure on you to know the rest of your life. It's like, I don't know. And that's okay. When you are living with the pressure of being your own God, when you're living with the pressure of trying to take control of your whole life, you can't handle that. You know, it's the celebrated thing for you to do. Plan out your life, vaguely plan it, and be like, it's in pencil. And then the Lord will put in Sharpie what he wants. And allow him to. If you're trying to live in submission, you will not have it all figured out. And people aren't going to like that because you don't have an answer for them. Again, I just want to reiterate that it's too big of a burden for you to handle. To be in control of your whole life. We live on such a linear timeline that the Lord is not bound by. There's no past, present, and future with him. Everything is right now. Everything is the present with him. So why would I trust what I know with my limited knowledge? So when God tweaks our plan, just stay in that submitted state. Even when it's so tough, we just always have to see everything or ask God to give us his eyes and see things through the lens of God is for me and not against me, because God is for you and not against you. So when things work out in your favor, it's so easy to give God the glory and recognition. Like, yes, I can see like you are working things out for me. But then when things happen not in our favor in a way that we would have never planned for or predicted or want, we can know that God is doing this because he heard things that we didn't. He sees things that we didn't. He has something better for us, something better suited for us. It may be more challenging. It may grow you more. It may be more uncomfortable, but it's better for you. He's not going to keep you in a hard time forever. It'll always be for a season to then grow you to where he needs to take you. And just trust that God's plan for you is so much greater than the plan that you have for yourself. I know that that's very basic, but it's very true. And when you try to stick with your plan, like, that's boring. Knowing how your whole life is going to plan out, that's so boring. And you may find peace in the security of knowing, but trust me, the peace and your security in God is way better. And it's way more fun. It's way more fun. I may say this because I like spontaneous things. Imagine if you got to plan your whole life and God was like, all right, whatever you plan, sure. No, that's so boring. That's literally so boring. Like, that kills the hope, that kills life, that kills your spark. Every day is going to be the same. You know exactly what's going to happen every day. You know what your life's going to be like in 5 years. You know when you're going to meet your spouse. You know when you're going to have your first kid. You know where they're going to go to college. You know exactly everything that's going to happen. That's not a life worth living, honestly. God doesn't tell us the future because he wants to surprise us, and he wants to blow our mind, and he wants to do things bigger and better than you can even imagine or think of or dream up of. So the plan that God has for you is filled with so many things that you couldn't even want for yourself. You couldn't even think up of, because you don't know who you'll be in 10 years. You don't know what your likes and dislikes will be. So how can you plan for the 10-year version of yourself? Let God rearrange your life in every life stage. So the plan that God has for us, he doesn't reveal it to us right away. He reveals what we can handle in a specific amount of time, because we are only a person for a specific amount of time. Like if you would have told me that I'm doing this 2 years ago, I would have been like, no, I don't want to do that. Like I would have been so fearful of what the Lord had planned for me, because 2 years ago, me didn't want to do this. Now, I want to do this. Like if you were to say that you're starting a podcast and talking, I would have been like, that's so scary. I would have been so scared. Now I'm not scared. Before, I wasn't as confident in myself. I wasn't so sure of myself. Now I'm confident and sure of myself. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to speak and I'm going to share. So God will reveal enough to excite us and enough to challenge us and grow us. And then we will live in it over and over and over again. And this may be my personal opinion, but I think surrender is fun. It's so unpredictable and it's so fun. But the thing that allows it to be fun is the full trust and faith in God, because surrender is so difficult if you don't have a correct view of who God is and who he is for you. Because if I was fully surrendered, like you can't fully surrender until you trust that person fully. If you don't trust that God truly is working things out for your good, if you don't trust that he is creating a life that you could not create for yourself, if you don't trust that every decision he makes is to benefit me and others, then surrender is going to be scary and it's going to be terrifying. And there's going to be no peace and rest in it. But I can rest in my surrender and knowing I have no clue where the Lord is going to take me, but I trust and know that he's taking me somewhere. He's not going to abandon me. He's not going to forget about me. He's never forgotten about me. He's making the way. And even if it's slower and cloudier and just more confusing than you thought it would be, he has never forgotten about you. He will never forsake you. And it will make sense someday. I just always go back to that verse. Jesus replied, "You don't know what I'm doing now, but someday you will." Hold tight to that. Let the Lord surprise you. Let your life become something you could never have imagined because you're so surrendered. This morning, I just was like breaking down crying. I'm like, God, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life. And I'm sitting there crying and my tears just turned to laughter because I just felt Jesus laughing and being like, this is my favorite part. I love when you allow me to do this. And I fully trust God. I know he's doing something. I don't know what it is. I trust God with my life, but I'm just I don't know how it's going to happen. I feel like I should have better, stronger faith to know that just because I don't know how it's going to happen, that doesn't change anything. It's still going to happen. I know that, but I'm still crying in the process being like, this is tough. Although I trust you, although I know that there will be a destination and that even though I feel like I'm not moving or making progress, I am. I feel like I could just feel Jesus laughing and smiling and but almost him thanking me and being like, thank you for letting me create a masterpiece out of your life, because it only comes through surrender. It's tough, but it's exciting. All right. As I wrap this up, I want to tell you guys what personally keeps me going in a surrendered state. I guess my why. So the reason why I'm pretty passionate about surrender, why I encourage everyone to just give up control of your life completely and surrender your life to the Lord, is because it's not about you. And when I learned this, it was so freeing to me because I was able to put my feelings and my emotions to the side. Not completely. I still have to do that every single day. And know that it's not about me. When God is asking me to give up control because he wants to do something with my life, I have to trust that he wants to do something and is using me. So it's not about me. So when you're doing the will of God in your life, you are pleasing God and serving people. You're using your gifts to please the Lord and to serve others. This whole life is about serving others. Jesus himself came to serve and not to be served. So how much more do we need to be here to serve and not to be served? So when Jesus has a call on your life, which he has on everyone's life, if you're a human, he has a purpose and a plan for your life. The reason why I believe it's so important to figure that out. So surrendering is figuring out that purpose for your life. You thinking you know that is you trying to play God, when God has a purpose and a plan for your life, and he needs to use you to accomplish that. It's not to do something in you, but he will use you to do something and also change something in you through doing that. I feel like the burden was just off of me when I understood that what the Lord is calling me to do, when he's asking me to do something that I don't want to do, when I'm giving up control and he's like testing that and like pushing that, what can keep you going on those hard days is knowing that the Lord does not just want to impact you, that the Lord is using you to help and serve others. So what he's calling you to do is for others. So it's just take the focus off of yourself. For me, it's like, wow, I may feel so misunderstood. And maybe admitting to people that I don't have a set plan for my life is super humbling and really tough. And I may feel not as supported as when I had a nice structured plan for my life. So when he has a call on your life and you don't want to do it and it's hard and you're like, I don't see the purpose, I don't see the plan, I don't see the progress, I don't know why you would call me to do this if like what's the point of this? He's working something out and he's doing something. The car ride that he has you in, the destination is to help and serve others. He's using you to serve the world, to serve your community. Whoever he needs you to impact and to serve and to improve the lives of, you have to be submitted to do that. Because when you have control and you try to dictate your whole life and the steps and everything that you'll do, you can't impact the people the Lord needs you to impact because you don't know who those people are. He will do these seemingly random things, just take you here out of nowhere, tell you to do this out of nowhere. It's like, why are you doing this? He needs you to use what he gave you to go help that person. All these gifts and talents, everything inside of you is not for no reason, and it's not just for you. It's to use those gifts to serve others. So when things seem so random to us and you're like, I would have never done this, I don't even see the point in this, God, sure, it's to help those other people. It's not about you. And I have to keep telling myself that, like, this is tough. Like the flat tire incident. Why would you give me a flat tire? It's like, really? If you're so sovereign, why would you do this? Like, there's no way it's God's will for me to get a flat tire. It's like, stop having such a narrow mind and think maybe the people at the car dealership needed to come across you that day. Maybe they needed your smile. Maybe they needed your encouragement. Whatever it was that you were able to give them, maybe that's what it was for. So maybe not everything is about you. And I was like, wait, love that. Thanks, God. Not everything is about me. Not everything is for me. A lot of times God is using you for other people. If you're surrendered, your life is for the Lord and for others. Your life is not about you anymore. So start telling yourself that and reframing your mind through that. Like, all these things I have to go through, maybe it's to help others. When a horrible part of your testimony happens and you don't see why, when you meet someone 4 years younger than you who is going through that exact same thing, you'll know exactly why that happened to you. And his plan is so much better. And when you're healed and when you're recovered, when that wound is no longer fresh and that thing doesn't hurt you, and you can help that person coming after you, you will be so grateful that the Lord made that a part of your journey and that was the part of your plan. But if you were to take control, you would have never had that happen because you're thinking about yourself. And I'm not here to condemn you and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are so self-centered. We're all so self-centered. I am so self-centered. We all naturally think about ourselves. We live our life through our eyes, our body. Like, we experience life through us. But the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2 is all about letting the Lord renew your mind to see the world and everything through his eyes, to see it through the lens of he is for you, he is not against you, and that you are here to serve others and not be served, and you will get a great reward in heaven. This life is not all that there is. So even if it's tough, even if it's beautiful, there's so much more waiting on the other side. Okay, I'll be done now. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. It means so much to me, really. I don't even have much to say. I'm going to go cry and pray and praise God. So I'll see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.